Hey everybody, welcome to the Taste of the Town here in Quincy, Illinois. We're here with Jared Tipton, the owner and chef of 8 Open, one of the newest additions to really tasting the town here in the heart of the downtown. Jared, thanks for all of this.
No, listen, thanks for coming and hanging out. We appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a presentation in and of itself. I'm just excited to talk about the food itself. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about 8 Open before we talk about the food. So 8 Open has been something near and dear to my heart because Jared is a buddy of mine and he's been a friend for a very long time. And I got to watch your business grow from food truck on wheels to now brick and mortar, and you're literally the station, or I guess the anchor, if you will, of the big 6th Street project. And you're like the place, I think one of the only places that serves food, so.
Right now, yeah, on 6th Street.
Yeah, so this is huge. And I mean, they're lucky to have you as the anchor. I'm not joking. This is food that I didn't ever think I would see in Quincy, and now it's here, thanks to you. So thank you for that. All right, so let's talk about the featured items that we're tasting on this Taste of the Town segment. You start.
Well, so here at 8 Open, I try to compare myself to Willy Wonka. We try to do this whimsical journey, have our own twist on items, things maybe you've never had before.
Obviously.
So I brought a few new items, new menu items that started this week. So we'll start first with the chicken sandwich. We call this the Coach Douglas. We had the boys basketball team in here a couple weeks ago and kind of designed some sandwiches after the coaches. And this one was such a hit, and I enjoyed it so much, it made the menu. Just classic fried chicken. We hit it with some smoked Gouda, candied bacon, pickles, and then this hot honey glaze. I mean, I think it's been the top seller this week.
Does Andy like it?
Yeah, because he was a big hot honey guy.
Okay.
So kind of tried to design it with his in mind. I feel slightly bad because Coach Wassman was the original coach. He got it, so his sandwich is still on the menu, but the Coach Douglas is creeping up there.
Okay, but speaking of the menu,
overselling.
This is one of the unique things about 8 Open. Your menu changes almost daily. I know you change it weekly, but sometimes it's daily based on, who, the sellout, if you will.
So we have, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, very similar menu. And then Friday, the menu changes completely. And we do what we call Smash Burger Friday. It's been this cult following almost, even though we've only been 4 months in, but it's standing room only, by noon, by 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
So it's been great. And that's why this other dish here I want to do. This is our feature for the week. So Lent came around. I got a good friend of mine. He's like, well, you better have a fish feature. So it's been selling so well, we'll probably after Lent just continue on with doing at least one seafood.
What's this called?
So this is our crab cake.
Okay.
Sandy Cheeks. She's the squirrel from SpongeBob.
Ah.
So just a classic jumbo lump crab cake. We hit it with a grilled pineapple, corn poblano slaw, and then an Old Bay aioli. Serve it on a nice potato roll.
That
been a good seller.
Delicious. So this will be available on Burger Fridays after?
Yeah, yep. So every feature. So normally the feature, we have a different feature on Friday, but with the seafood option being Lent and probably carrying on after that, we're just going to go the whole time.
That's awesome. And that's awesome that you catered to the whole Lent thing, especially on Beef Fridays.
Yeah. Well, Quincy's been very receptive for seafood options. Last week we did seared scallops, lobster ravioli, and I was sold out by Friday lunchtime.
Everybody wants a good Lent option outside of, I guess, the fried catfish.
Yeah.
And you offer exactly what we are looking for with the Taste of the Town, which are unique food experiences for our viewers to experience, and these are, unique as it is. Okay, so what is that?
All right, so this is I had to put this on here because it's just our classic. Though it has a wow factor. I've met very few people who haven't enjoyed it. It's our play on a poutine fry. So poutine fry is a classic Canadian dish, cheese curd, brown gravy. So we kind of put a little southern twist on it. We use beer cheese, pulled pork, and our barbecue sauce. We still hit it with the cheese curd, and then scallions to top it off. Most people who get this is maybe a meal and a half. Some people say they take it home and eat it for 2 days after that. So.
I was just about to ask, have you witnessed anybody to finish the Is it poutine?
Poutine.
Poutine.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone who comes up to order, they almost refuse to say it because they're like, I'm not saying
not
poutine.
gonna say it right.
So.
But that's a word that you didn't make up.
Yep. So we've had a few people who finish it all the way, but they're kind of rolling out of the door by the time they finish. People always say my portions are too big, but I always say, listen, you may not like the food, but you're not going to leave hungry.
I like that. Also, if they're too big, so what? That's what you have to-go boxes
Exactly.
for. You know?
Exactly. I want people to feel like they're getting the money's worth.
Share.
Exactly.
Next meal.
Yep.
Okay. What is this next delicious, delightful item?
So this is a new menu item this week. So we'll be on the menu all the time. The other day was 217 day a few weeks ago. So we decided
our area code.
Yep. So I decided to do kind of like a play on our horseshoe. And so I named it the Mayor Schultz, only because for me as a kid, he was the mayor, so he kind of represents the city of Quincy to me. So this is the Mayor Schultz horseshoe.
Did you have any experiences with the mayor when you were younger?
Back, he comes and spoke to school a few times.
Yeah.
And I bagged his groceries at County Market. So he was like this mystique celebrity when I was a kid. I was like, oh, Mom, I bagged the mayor's groceries.
That's awesome. And you said he frequents the place. So.
Yeah, he comes in, he gets the Journal of Washington every time he comes in. And then he gave me we spoke about the history about Journal of Washington and John Wood's dad, who served with Journal of Washington in the Revolutionary War.
Which is what one of your regular sandwiches is.
Yep.
It's the General Washington,
Correct.
just to clarify.
Yep.
But so tell me about that real quick. That conversation with him.
No, it was nice. He comes in and we were talking, and he was just like, well, John Wood, his dad served in the Revolutionary War and was buried in Washington, and then John Wood went and got him and brought him back and buried him in the cemetery over there, I think like
Woodland?
6th and Jackson, the one with all the hills.
Woodland.
Right. So then we got into the conversation about cemeteries in Quincy and all the hills and how they're all level. That's one of the first. There was one of the few cemeteries left in Quincy.
Yeah.
And probably the only cemetery in Quincy that has someone from the Revolutionary War buried.
It is a cool cemetery. So speaking of conversation, you obviously get to carry conversations every now and again. Yeah. The setup of this place is unique, just as the food is. It is one of the only places in town that you see, I guess you would call these common tables or community tables.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so people just sit next to people that they don't even know.
Yeah, it's actually been really awesome. At first, when I told my dad he needed to build me a 32-foot long table, he kind of was like, are you serious? I don't want to do that. But listen, we have to. We got to have that one huge table, kind of like that it factor. And then we have all these 8-foot tables to where, you might have a whole family sitting here, or you might have 2 people and then, 6 people.
Yeah.
And people have been very open about it. I mean, some people said, well, Quincy may not be open about it, but for me, it's like coming to dinner at Grandma's house and, we put our phones down and we start conversations. And I like.
Have you seen that though?
Yeah.
People making conversation?
Yeah, I've seen just people. And you don't realize how much of a tight community, small world it is, right? Everyone says what a small world, but when you finally start talking to people, you're
outside of the phone.
Yeah, you really realize how small the world. You're like, oh, I know your brother, and we did this back then, and it's been great. That's why I love working the register a lot, because just the conversation I have with not just our regulars, but new people and where they're coming from and how they heard about us, and it's really awesome.
Okay, so how they hear about you quite often, like you said, you had a cult following. You have a cult following because of your Facebook, your social media. You do an amazing job with that. I'm happy that I get to share that now with the Muddy River News site to show you always have some pretty creative posts on there. The hashtag LFG.
Yeah.
Is that a blues reference?
It's common. It's like let's go, and it's just like Tom Brady would say, he'd run down the field before a game and he'd yell real loud. Yeah,
So you're pumping people up.
Yeah, listen, let's go and get some food. Let's get some good food.
I always see you as pumping people up before your shift. You're pumping your staff up. You remind me so much of the bear, but on the happy level.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody's seen that show. He's always kind of down. You are that person that's let's go, and the encouraging leader in the shift, I guess, if you will. But you're the happy one. He's always down. You're always pretty happy.
Well, I came from fine dining in North Carolina for 5 years, and it was a grind. 6 days a week, 8 hours a week. And so to come here and open my own place and just like cook food, the food that I cook, I love to eat, I love to cook it. And then just, we try to have fun time, joke around, not take ourselves too serious, not be stuffy, you know. A lot of times it's funny, we have a lot of customers who come in sometimes, they're kind of like, you can feel they're cranky or they're like a curmudgeon, like trying to loosen them up. And like by the end, even if I don't loosen them up at the register, by the end after they have the meal, they'll come get a to-go box and they'll give me a smile and they'll like give me an elbow or a pound or something. So, you know, if I can't win them over, typically the food gets them over.
That is amazing. Well, I can't say that like how happy I am. I've been looking forward for this forever. You know this. We've talked about this since I think when Muddy River News started. You were my first article that I ever got to publish.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that.
You were also my first homecoming date. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. That was a good time. It was right before you come over to QHS. You're still Q&D-er.
Yes, I was, and then I made the switch over after seeing the great homecoming.
Well, at least I have that effect on people.
Yes, you have an effect on people, both you know, with your funny personality and with the food. I do think you have found your home here on the corner of 6th and Maine, and I'm really proud of you for it.
We're stoked to be here. I know there's a lot going on. I remember when Tierney had called me and said Michelle was ready to lease this place. We came in and I was like, man, it is way too big.
But then in the back of your head, you were like, LFG.
That's
LFG.
right. That's right.
So the one last thing that we saved, the best
That's
to last, right?
So I wanted to do a dessert, and we are well known for our bread pudding.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, I have people who doesn't like bread pudding, they'll drive 200 miles away when we had the bread pudding, and it's one of those things, if I don't sell it all, I don't want to serve it the next day because it's not as good.
Mushy.
Yeah, exactly. So we developed a dessert that we could just have every day. So it's an apple tart. So think about like your grandma's house. She made this apple pie. We stuff it in this puff pastry, a little caramel drizzle, and I was doing a salted caramel vanilla ice cream, but we decided to partner, stay local with TCBY.
Oh, that's
Cheryl's
awesome.
a friend of mine, so she's like, well, listen, why don't you use my frozen yogurt? So we
To tell you the truth, I like frozen yogurt a little bit better than ice cream.
Yep.
It doesn't make me as much. So I'm excited about this. This I am definitely trying as soon as you get me a spoon. This whole, I mean, I'm gonna need new pants walking out of here, okay? So I'm hoping that Muddy River News pays for my new pant size collection, and I mean, I'll charge it to them, not you, Jared, because this is obviously your fault too. Well, I hope everyone comes down to the corner of 6th and Maine and get yourself a unique experience within Quincy and come taste the town.